Every single one of your ancestors was a chronic people pleaser. That might sound like an insult. It is. It is a biological statement of fact. They weren't nice because they had high moral standards or because they'd read the latest self-help books on empathy. They were nice because the ones who weren't nice, the ones who didn't care what the group thought of them, didn't live long enough to become anyone's ancestor. The tough loner who doesn't need anyone is a modern Hollywood myth. In the cold, hard reality of human prehistory, the loner was an evolutionary dead end. A literal corpse waiting to happen. You are the biological descendant of the survivors. You are the offspring of the ones who were so pathologically obsessed with social status that it kept them awake at night. And today, in a world of 8 billion people and infinite digital connections, that same obsession is eating you alive. Think about how strange it is that a mean comment from a stranger 3,000 miles away can trigger a physical fight-or-flight response in you. You're sitting in a climate-controlled room, you are physically safe, you have calories in the fridge, yet you see a notification, a dislike, a critical remark, a perceived slight, and your heart begins to race. Your palms sweat. Your brain enters a state of high alert as if a predator just stepped out of the shadows. Why would an advanced, rational human treat a digital insult like a physical threat? Why does the feeling of being left out feel so much like actual physical pain? To understand that, you have to strip away the thin, fragile veneer of modern civilization. You have to look past the smartphones and the concrete and the social media algorithms. You have to go back to the original human environment, a world where being disliked wasn't just awkward. It was a death sentence. For over 250,000 years, your ancestors lived in small, mobile, intimately connected bands. Usually no more than 30 to 50 people. In this world, you didn't have a private life. There was no such thing as a stranger. Every person you saw was someone you had known since birth and would know until the day you died. They were your insurance policy, they were your grocery store, they were your hospital. If you were a hunter-gatherer, your survival didn't depend on your individual strength. A human with no claws, no fur, and no sharp teeth is a remarkably easy meal for a leopard. Your survival depended entirely on the group's willingness to share. If you were sick, the group had to feed you. If you were injured, the group had to carry you. If you were sleeping, the group had to watch the perimeter. This is the social contract written in the mud of the Paleolithic, and the currency you used to pay for that contract was your reputation. If you were seen as a good member of the tribe, generous, brave, reliable, you were safe. But if you were seen as a liability, if you were lazy, selfish, or aggressive, the social temperature around you began to drop. And in a world of 30 people, there is nowhere to hide. You can't just go find a new friend group. You can't move to a different city. The ultimate weapon the group held over you wasn't violence. It was ostracism. It was the social death. Imagine the terror of realizing the group is talking about you in hushed tones. Imagine the silence that falls when you walk toward the fire. This is the origin of your social anxiety. It isn't a malfunction. It is an early warning system. It's a biological alarm bell screaming that your access to life-saving resources is being threatened. The ancestors who didn't feel that alarm, the ones who truly didn't care if they were disliked, simply got exiled. They wandered off into the dark alone and they died without passing on their I don't care genes. You are the product of the winners. The ones who stayed up late replaying social interactions, wondering if they'd offended the elder or if they'd shared enough meat after the hunt. Here is where it gets visceral. Evolution is incredibly efficient and it's also very lazy. When it needed a way to make social rejection feel urgent to our ancestors, it didn't bother inventing a brand new sensation. It just hijacked an existing one. It used the circuitry for physical pain. Modern neuroimaging studies, things like fMRI scans, show that when a human experiences intense social rejection, the brain lights up in the exact same regions it does when you get burned by hot water or break a bone. The anterior cingulate cortex doesn't distinguish between a broken leg and a broken heart. To your brain, they are the same thing, an urgent threat to your survival that requires immediate, agonizing attention. We tell people to get over it. We say, it's just words. But biologically, that's like telling someone with a degree burn to just stop feeling the heat. The pain is real because, for 99% of our history, the consequence was just as real as a physical wound. This is also why our modern obsession with alpha behavior or sigma, loners, is so tragically backwards. In a real hunter-gatherer tribe, the person who acted like an arrogant, dominant bully didn't last long. Aggressive narcissism is a high-risk strategy in a small group. If you become too much of a nuisance, the group doesn't submit to you. They wait until you're asleep and they hit you with a rock, or they simply leave you behind when they move camp. True status in the ancient world wasn't about dominance. It was about prosociality. It was about being so valuable to the group that they couldn't afford to lose you. We were bred to be hypertuned to the needs and opinions of others because our lives depended on it. We are cooperative specialists. Our insight into what others are thinking, what we now call theory of mind, is the most powerful survival tool we ever evolved. It's more effective than any claw or fang, but it comes with a massive, crushing psychological tax. Everything changed about 12,000 years ago. As we discussed in the episode on the Trap of Cities, we stopped moving. We settled down. We went from groups of 30 people who knew our names to cities of thousands of strangers who didn't. This created a catastrophic evolutionary mismatch. Your brain is still running Paleolithic software. It still thinks it's in a tribe of 50 people. It thinks that every person you interact with is a permanent member of your survival circle. So when a stranger in a coffee shop gives you a dirty look or a faceless person on the internet calls you an idiot, your social death alarm goes off. Your brain thinks, the tribe is turning on us. We are going to be exiled. We are going to die in the woods. It doesn't understand that you will never see that stranger again. It doesn't understand that the dislike on your video has zero impact on your ability to buy groceries or get medical care. The hardware is fixed, the alarm is screaming, and there is no off switch. Building and maintaining a reputation is an exhausting, calorie-heavy process. Think about the sheer mental energy you spend performing your life, monitoring your facial expressions, choosing your words, curating your digital image. This isn't just vanity, it's a massive resource management project. In the ancient world, this energy was well spent. It bought you safety. But in the modern world, we are performing for a tribe of millions. We are trying to maintain a reputation in a group that is too large for the human brain to even comprehend. Anthropologists often talk about Dunbar's number, the idea that humans can only maintain stable social relationships with about 150 people. That is the limit of our social hardware. Beyond that, the system starts to creak. When you try to care about what 10,000 strangers think of you, you are essentially asking your brain to run a marathon every single day. You are redlining your nervous system. The result isn't better social standing. The result is burnout, chronic anxiety, and the hollow, nagging feeling that you are never safe enough. The internet has taken our ancient fear of ostracism and turned it into a high-frequency weapon. In the Paleolithic, social feedback was slow. You'd get a look, a comment, a shift in body language. You had time to process it around the fire. But today, feedback is instantaneous. It is quantified, it is public. When you post something and it doesn't get likes, or worse, it gets ratioed, your brain isn't just seeing data. It's seeing a digital version of being left in the dark. It's a mini exile happening every few minutes. And the creators of these platforms know this. They aren't just software engineers. They are behavioral architects. They understand that the fear of social death is the most powerful hook in the human psyche. They have taken a 200,000-year-old survival mechanism and turned it into a profit engine. They keep you scrolling, keep you performing, and keep you people-pleasing because they know your brain is literally incapable of not caring. To not care about social feedback would be to ignore a threat to your life. Or at least, that's what your amygdala thinks. We often imagine our ancestors as these noble, stoic figures who were in tune with nature. The reality was much more anxious. They were probably stressed out all the time. They were constantly checking the social temperature. Did I offend the hunter? Is my sister-in-law mad that I didn't help gather the tubers? Why didn't they ask me to help with the tool making today? The only difference was that their anxiety was functional. It led to immediate social repairs that kept them alive. Our anxiety is dysfunctional. We feel the same level of panic, but there is no repair possible. You can't fix it with a stranger on the internet. You can't share your meat with an algorithm. We are left with the physiological symptoms of a life-threatening crisis, but no way to resolve the crisis. We are stuck in the arousal phase of the survival loop forever. So where does that leave us? If the fear is hardwired, if the pain is as real as a broken bone, and if the tribe is now too large to ever satisfy, are we just doomed to be social neurotics? The first step out of the trap is realizing that it is a trap. The next time you feel that cold, hollow pit in your stomach because someone didn't text you back, or because you made a mistake in a meeting, take a second to name the ghost. Recognize that your brain is currently screaming that you are about to die in a forest in the year 50,000 BC. Look around your modern room. Acknowledge that the social death being signaled is a hallucination. You are not being exiled, you are just being human in an environment you weren't designed for. We are all standing in the same asphalt canyons, completely surrounded by strangers, trying to satisfy the demands of an ancient machine that doesn't know the world has changed. We built the digital world to connect us, but we accidentally built the ultimate psychological torture chamber for a primate that evolved to live in groups of 30. We are the children of the people pleasers. We are the survivors of the status seekers. The fear you feel isn't a sign that you are weak. It's a sign that you are a perfectly functioning biological machine. It's just that the machine is still looking for a fire that went out 10,000 years ago. And until we understand that, until we see the insight ink drop for what it really is, we will continue to be chased by ghosts that we ourselves invited into our pockets. We built the cities, we built the networks, and then slowly, methodically, and irreversibly, the networks built us.